Terence McKenna had a great line about the difference between science and religion is that science only asks you for one miracle.
I think the most incomprehensible and miraculous thing that atheism can't explain is not the universe itself or even life itself, but consciousness. So here's a conversation that has gone viral. It's making the rounds right now on social media of Joe Rogan on his podcast recently. I think this is his most recent episode. A couple days ago it came out. And they start talking about religion. They start talking about God, about the origins of the universe. Now, Joe Rogan, as you probably know, is an atheist and has been in the past very outspoken about that, which is what made this clip really, really interesting. Listen to this.
Well, space is the ultimate who the knows because we can only see so far. We see so far, but even so far is only so far.
Well, and then they're saying like it's always expanding, which that can't be true because like what is it expanding into? If space is space, you know, if they're like, oh, it's like blowing up a balloon where everything's okay, but you're blowing up a balloon in a room,
right?
So what's the room that you're blowing the balloon into? And then that's in a bigger room, and then that's in this.
And then there's the concept that it's actually finite. It's not infinite, and it's some sort of donut shape. It like goes back around eventually.
But then who made all that?
Right.
Like, is there a God? Did God make this?
Or is God the universe?
Yeah, but then who made God? And then that bothers me.
Right. But
like, who made that thing?
Is that a thing that we think that, like, because we were born and we die, that we have these biological limitations that we attach to the universe itself?
That's fair.
Right.
That we see things as being built and destroyed.
That there's always been something. Well, wouldn't it be crazy if there wasn't something at one point in time? That seems even crazier. Then there always has been something. Because if it's just something, if it's just the nature of everything, there is always something, right?
Right.
It couldn't be nothing and then all of a sudden everything. That seems
because what started that? What kicked that off?
Exactly.
What snapped its fingers? Like
that's McKenna's great line. Terence McKenna had a great line about the difference between science and religion is that science only asks you for one miracle. I want you to believe in one miracle, the Big Bang.
Yeah. That's a good one.
It's a great line.
Yeah.
It's because it really is true.
Yes.
And it's funny because people would be incredulous about the resurrection of Jesus Christ, but yet they're convinced that the entire universe was smaller than the head of a pin, and for no reason that anybody's adequately explained to me that makes sense.
Yeah, no,
instantaneously became everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't buy that.
I'm sticking with Jesus on that one. Like, Jesus makes more sense.
Sticking with Jesus. Well, that's a pretty incredible moment there. Now, I don't think that Joe is going to go off and be baptized tomorrow, although that would be awesome. But it is a significant statement, I think. And what they're saying here is true. You know, when you really think about and study the great, deep mysteries of the universe, you realize that no matter what, you have to deal with incomprehensible mysteries. No matter what, our universe and our own existence defies all of the physical laws and rules that we think exist. You know, existence defies reason, basically. That's how it seems to me, that the fact that anything exists, that we exist, defies reason, defies what we think we know and what we think we can observe. And so that's the world we're in. I mean, that's the world that all of us are in, no matter what, like it or not. And that's the world we're in. We are dealing with things far outside of our comprehension, no matter what. And they're talking about the beginning of the universe, which, it's true, makes no sense on the atheist worldview. The idea of something coming from nothing is incomprehensible. The thing that the other guy mentioned, and I'm not sure who that is, but the point about the expanding universe, expanding, like, what is it expanding into? If it's expanding, for it to expand assumes that there's an end to it. You know, a thing without an end cannot expand by any definition of the word expand that makes any sense. Infinity cannot expand. So if it has an end, what's on the other side of it? If you could theoretically travel faster than the expansion of the universe, what would you run into? And these are all incomprehensible questions, which shows that atheism, I mean, the point is that the atheism does not avoid the incomprehensible. Atheism does not avoid the miraculous, which is the point, which is the quote that Joe Rogan said there. That now that quote I think is pretty clearly meant to be a selling point for atheism, because the point is supposed to be that, well, with atheists you only have to accept one miracle, and if you're religious, then there's many, many more down the line. But number one, that's not true, and number two, you're still admitting that even on the atheist worldview, you have to accept what to us seems as miraculous. And I think that, and anyway, again, it's not even true that, well, okay, so if you're atheist, then you only have to deal with one miraculous event, which is the beginning of everything. Well, no, there's all kinds of stuff that happened after the beginning that also cannot be explained on the atheist worldview. And to me, I think the most incomprehensible and miraculous thing that atheism can't explain is not the universe itself, which that's a problem, or even life itself, but consciousness. I mean, that to me is the fact of our existence that points most immediately and unavoidably to the supernatural. I mean, the existence of the universe points to the supernatural, I believe. The existence of life points, but even more than that, the existence of consciousness. Because even if you can explain how inanimate material, how matter came into existence on its own somehow, which we can't, and even if you can explain how biological matter came into existence on its own, which we still can't, you're still left with the question of how this matter, how this material became aware of itself. How could chemicals arrange themselves in such a way, accidentally, that they develop an awareness of their own existence? Consciousness, the knowledge of the self as a self, which is what consciousness is, I would say. Consciousness is basically selfhood. Even if we concede that beings, that organisms can form accidentally, which I don't concede. But if we did, it's an infinitely larger leap to say that the self can form accidentally. That are, an awareness of the self can form accidentally. And we don't even understand what consciousness is in physical terms, much less where it comes from. So that's also. So that it's not just one miraculous event. There's a series of them that the atheist must posit, leading, I think, to what for the atheist is the ultimate miraculous and unexplainable event, which is consciousness. So all that is that's good. That's all. To have someone like Joe Rogan speaking in these terms at all is just culturally a major progress. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.